it's Cricket from the Coat Hangers, and you're listening to Drop the Mic.
This is the mortgage, Cindy's college money. If I do right by Mrs. Krishnan, the circle she runs in, this could be the break we've been waiting for. Can't take longer than a couple weeks. That's all I can tell you, honey. Sometimes you can't know what I'm doing. It's better that way.
It's always that way.
You come highly recommended, Mr. Wells. You're praised for your discretion.
Thank you, ma'am.
As you know, my husband passed away recently.
Yes.
My husband was the only one with the combination to this safe. These were my husband's private things. I didn't realize.
Do you want to tell me what you found, Mrs. Krishnan?
Private Detective Tom Wells is one of the only people who has seen it. It is 8 millimeters wide. It runs at 16 frames per second. And he has been hired to discover.
All I want is to know that this atrocity is false. I want the proof of it.
If what's on it is real.
Finding the guys who made this film is going to be very difficult. I need information. I thought you might be able to help.
You name the device, I name the price. I'm gonna tell you, there's things that you're gonna see that you can't unsee. They get in your head and they stay there.
Some doors should never be opened.
Tom, where are you?
You dance with the devil. The devil don't change. The devil changes you.
Because once you go through,
I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna be okay.
there is no going back. Nicolas Cage.
I'm trying to understand!
Wherever you were, just forget about it.
I can't. There's no one left to finish this but me.
8 millimeter. A film by Joel Schumacher.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Drop the Mic, a San Diego podcast. We will be your host for the remainder of the show. I'm the Swan, and alongside me tonight we have James Marvel Warney and Mr. Diego Luna. This is episode 174, Hard Spank, and tonight we're going to discuss Joel Schumacher's cult classic, 8 millimeter. But before that, we've got some pop culture news to get you guys warmed up. Before we head into that segment, how are you guys? How's the
doing good.
The pandemic and everything treating you guys?
surviving through COVID.
Right.
Yeah.
Weird times.
And now for a special news report. Brought to you by Drop the Mic.
So it looks like Westworld creators are being tapped to create a Fallout series for Amazon, the Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
No real details on if the game's going to follow a certain I know there's a few games that are Fallout games that are out in existence right now. I don't know if it's going to follow a specific game or it's kind of just going to use the concept for that game from that game as a backbone, and then just go create stuff on its own. Not really sure what they're going to do with it, but it's pretty exciting. I've never played the games before, but they look fun.
Damn, that'd be awesome. You know, it's really when it usually when a video game gets translated into a TV show is where usually the downfall is. Mm-hmm. But in this day and age, with the budget they're giving studios and stuff, especially for streaming services, it's gonna be dope. And I hope they stay true to the video game. You know.
Yeah, and they have so much content they can pull from. I mean, they can mash all the games together. I don't really know if they're all one continuous story or not, but I mean, isn't there 4 or 5 of them?
Yeah, I think it's been going since PS3. I want to say.
Oh wow, yeah, okay. So yeah, that's one thing I thought that was pretty interesting this week. And then we got some more news coming out, I guess, in regards to the WB rumor mill. I guess Justice League Dark series that's going to be going to HBO Max. That is going to be spearheaded by J.J. Abrams and his production company, Bad Robot. It looks like that. At least right now, two of those main characters from this series, John Constantine and Zatanna, are probably going to be getting their own spin-off series or movie strictly for HBO Max. It's also going to include Swamp Thing, Etrigan the Demon, and Deadman. So we might get some other characters as well. Who knows? Because it's a series, so they'll probably have mix-matching characters throughout. But I think it's interesting, and I'm excited for that. And JJ is going to be in charge of the whole entire, all of its spin-offs, everything like that. So I think that's pretty cool.
Nice.
It's going to look dope, dude. I hope, especially because JJ's behind it. And, you know, I mean, a lot of people give him a lot of slack for what he did in Star Wars. But I personally love that what he's done with the Star Wars franchise, you know.
Did he do Star Wars?
Yeah, the new one.
He did. Oh shit! Yeah, I forgot.
And, Force Awakens.
He did Star Trek too, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking. I totally forgot he did Star Wars. Holy crap! I'm just thinking. Oh yeah, I like his Star Trek movies. Those were dope. So I totally forgot about that. He did Star Wars. That's cool.
But yeah, dude. I mean, he's done really good jobs with the movie. Every movie that he's involved right now has been really, really fucking good. And the fact that that Warner Brothers, especially the DC universe, needs him, bro.
Mm-hmm.
They need definitely a facelift. And I love, like, I think you and I were talking about it, how in the why would they, in the first place, they should have just had HBO Max in the first place. They already had their content and stuff ready to go, you know. And like, it would have beat Disney, because I think at the time they released the DC Universe streaming service, they already had all their licensing done, and Disney didn't have Fox. So I was like, oh, they should have just done it, dude. Like, I mean, they would have beat Disney to a lot of stuff, you know. But
I think they just released that prematurely. I think they were just so worried about getting left behind again by Disney.
Yeah, and I don't know who's the idea man behind there, but they're definitely falling behind the curve on that, you know.
Yeah.
And hopefully, and the best thing about, I think the best thing that HBO could have done, and I think a lot of our viewers don't know, or if they do know, they should know, is that if you have HBO, you could get HBO Max for free if you have a cable provider.
Yeah.
What's happening is they're slowly phasing out Go, I think, to probably take it down completely. So I think at the end of the month, was July 31st, you won't be able to access supposedly HBO Go. So I think that's why they kind of did the easy crossover for people who already are subscribers to just sign in, and then they have Max already.
Yeah, it's so smart, and like you said, Wes, the layout of their app design is so clean.
Oh yeah, I fucking love it, dude. It's so beautiful, and they're like constantly changing all the artwork and stuff. I'm just like fascinated when I go on there. It's so weird.
Yeah, whoever's in charge of that is should get paid a lot more.
Yeah, because it's funny, because like you would think you would see that like on Disney Plus, you know.
No.
Like, that's what I thought. Yeah. I thought Disney Plus was going to be, but it turns out HBO outdid them in so many ways. And the fact that HBO's libraries or Time Warner's libraries stand from not only movies but cartoons and also anime.
Yeah,
like
that's crazy that you get Crunchyroll. I was like, what?
Yeah.
That is
so cool.
amazing, dude.
All the all the extension hubs is just like, what?
Yeah, so cool. I love that.
I was like, blown away. So thank you to whoever suggested HBO Max. But you fucked up and not suggesting it earlier because they would have fucked Disney over.
Yeah, it would have. Actually, speaking of Disney, the director for the new Scarlett Johansson superhero film Black Widow stated that Scarlett Johansson will be essentially passing the torch to Florence Pugh, who will inevitably assume the Black Widow calling card for future Marvel movies. And just to say this right now, I called it when the trailer came out. I'm like, oh, she's way younger than Scarlett Johansson. She's definitely going to be replacing her sometime in the future.
Yeah, Florence. Awesome.
Yes. So cool. And then I think I have two more pieces. Let me get these really quick. Jamie Foxx, he released I think it was a video, or it might have just been I only saw a little picture of it, but he looks jacked in this photo that he just released.
For Tyson,
he's going to be starring as Mike Tyson.
He looks fucking just like him, man. It's scary.
It's crazy how much he looks like him. It's insane.
Yeah.
Fox as fucking Tyson. That's fucking crazy.
I can't wait for that. I think he's going to be awesome. He's great in all of his roles. This is probably going to be a more serious and dark role when it gets to kind of the fall of Mike Tyson and kind of where he lost it a little bit. But yeah, excited for that one. And then speaking of fallen heroes, Ray Fisher bashes Joss Whedon for his directing style on Justice League movie, calling it, and I quote, "His on-set treatment of the cast and crew was gross, abusive, unprofessional, and completely unacceptable." And also stating that Jeff Johns and John Berg enabled Whedon in so many ways and allowing him to treat the cast and crew in, I guess, a horrible way. He also released a statement, I think, a couple of days ago, maybe a day ago, stating that the reason why he's not going in so much detail and why people keep asking him, like, what exactly did he do? What did you witness? He went on to state that he has, when he signed on to do the movie and the contract for Warner Brothers in DC, he signed a NDA. So there's only certain things he can say about what happened, and he can't really get into descriptive, on what happened exactly. So he was just letting people know, listen, I signed a non-disclosure agreement, so I can't really say much more than what I already said. And he said, I need a job. So basically, like, I can't screw myself out of any like future movies that he may be getting, which I think I talked about earlier. He may be going to star in the new Flash movie coming up. But what do you guys think of that? From what I heard, I know Joss was talking so much shit about Zack Snyder, from what cast members and stuff were saying, and crew, basically saying that Zack's vision was shit, and that's why they hired him to come in and fix what he did. But
I've always heard some weird stuff, about him kind of being, how would you say, like sexist behavior as well? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which is very odd because he's the fucking creator of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which is like one of the most woman empowerment like franchises ever. So it's really ironic. But I have no doubt that they're telling the truth, and I think I sent you guys that Gal Gadot.
I was about to mention that too.
Recently, she came out saying that she refused to do a certain scene that she thought was gross and sexist, and so instead of cutting it out, Whedon fucking hired a double to do the scene.
Yeah, which the scene that we're referring to is when, if anyone hasn't seen Justice League, or they have and they don't know, it's when Flash lands on Wonder Woman and his face is in, like, basically on her chest, and it's an awkward scene, and it's I can see why she wouldn't want to do that and kind of lower herself just for 2 seconds of not even really that funny of a scene.
It's like a slapsticky type of weird, like, come on, man, like, let's...
Yeah.
Let's do something else here.
Yeah, we're trying to move away from that.